some questions. Take your phone and call or visitation. How is this economic crisis affecting my relationship, our product and services? They will tell you their pain, then you now design or rejig or retool your services, either to introduce something new or how you approach them. Selling from the pain point. Mocha phone was so good in selling mattresses. So good in selling mattresses. I know most of us have Mocha phone in our house. But they don't know that during this period, Nigeria need another type of mattress. So there is this China mattress that came. They now start manufacturing mattress. If you talk it like this, it will break in the middle. But then it was almost 80% cheaper than the Mocha mattress at that of the same size and structure. Somebody they called, they want to start doing something around that. So it's about pain. It's about selling and from pain. This is a time to give the market what the market need. You know what you have. It is now market in, product out. Instead of product in, market out. The reason why American products doesn't succeed in countries like Japan is that America will give you what they have instead of giving you what you want. And I asked the Japanese why. He said, for example, our water system. The plumbing system. A Japanese wants immediately he owns his hot water. The first drop is hot. But American system will ensure that the first 2 minutes, cold water is still running. Eh? Cold water is still running. So it's about little innovation. Cold water is still running until the hot water will just, can I come out? Avoid wasteful practices, and prioritize ruthlessly. Not all location you have to go. One pastor said that no is not a bad answer. No is not a bad answer. Prioritize ruthlessly. Focus on those activities that will deliver the most value. And don't be afraid to say no to initiatives that don't align to your focus at this time. Creating more products than the customer needs. Using outdated or redundant methods that are slow to delivery. Misalignment of goals. These are the things you have to look at. By focusing efforts on delivering the most significant value to customers, businesses can stay afloat, survive and grow even in a tough economic climate. And that chart just showed you how it works. So in closing, the next two slides will close so that I will learn from the panelists. I know we have somebody from InterSwitch here, and they are one of the success stories of economic crisis. We want to learn from them. But what are we looking at? What are the small economic outlook? Because we're talking about Outlook 2025. This night, we're going to know whether it is going to be a woman breaking and shattering the glass ceiling in America, or a 78-year-old grandfather. So I on American election, because whatever happened in America, no matter, will have some impact in our jurisdiction. And somebody will say, why? The JABA may continue, the JABA may reduce. That's one. But our people that are over there may increase or reduce the rate at which they move their money back home. So don't say it's US election, it not concern us. It concerns us. It concerns us. The biggest source of diaspora remittances to Nigeria is from America. And I'm going to get to that, the strategies, because one of the strategies is follow the money. And one of the free money is diaspora remittances, average of 20 billion every year. During economic crisis, whether it is in India, whether it is in Mexico, whether it's in Venezuela, we've seen that diasporas are the major source of survival of their home country, and our own is not going to be what? Different. So our people that stay in those countries countries that are major source of diaspora remittances, what happened to the government and administration there concerns us as businesses. Okay? America, UK, Italy. These are the three sources, major sources.
I go on. And I don't know how I feel about this one, but it says this is the time to dethrone the market leaders. The market leaders are not sleeping too, yeah? And it says target value chain tied around those segments that we have seen to be the sources of growth. You made mention of the Dangote refinery. You talked about how that the banking and finance, right? They are actually growing at 10 times what the average growth is right now. Avoid misaligned goals. You know, there's need for us to be very agile and resilient. The saying of this is how we used to do things can be very detrimental now than ever before, because the landscape is changing, and you might wake up tomorrow morning and find out that the train has left you in the station. It says bureaucracy needs to go. And one that I framed here is, it said, satisfied customers are loyal even in tough economic climates. Talking about pain points, right? Targeting the pain points. So for those of us that are here that are agency people, are you listening to your client pain points, or do you just expect them to also understand, right? They're asking you to come around to increase your turnaround time. You're like, don't they already know how these things work? Pain points, right? And it says to prioritize ruthlessly. Talking about the customer lifetime value ratio versus, what's the other one now? Doctor, can you help me out, sir? Cost acquisition, CAC, yes. Very important. Segmenting our clients, right? Segmentation. It was very, very an insightful session personally for me, and I want to believe it was the same for everybody that was here. I think we need to give Doctor another round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. So we're going to be taking a short break, but before that short break, we'll be having one session, and it's going to, I think it's still in line with some of the things that the president of MIPAN had said, you know, in his opening speech. We'll be having a partner presentation from one of our partners from the China-Europe International Business School, and the head of Executive Education Africa will be speaking to us in the person of Saida Lawal Mohammed. I hope you're ready. Okay, please put your hands together for her as she comes up. Because I need help with this. Yeah. You might just give us a few minutes so that we can move the, or do you want to engage with your people? No, I'll just key it. You can take the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to introduce her again because of that breaking transmission, right? So, permit me to welcome the head of Executive Education for Africa from the China-Europe International Business School, CEIBS. Please put your hands together for her. Clap, clap, clap. It's not loud enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to say I'm really excited to be here and grateful for the opportunity that has been provided for CIBS, as we call it for short, China-Europe International Business School. There are many things that the keynote speaker had mentioned, and I found them quite aligned with what we want to do at CIBS, what we try to do at CIBS. I'm not the most, if he struggled to punch it, okay, great, thank you. Then, so, without taking too much of your time, permit me to go straight into who or what SIBS is. SIBS is SIBS is a business school that has a number of campuses globally. It's an international business school with global recognition. And I want to take a few minutes here to just speak to that. In 1994, through a partnership by the European Union and the Chinese government. It's a non-for-profit organization, and it's geared towards helping people build and transform their businesses. There are a few milestones to call out, and for me, the one that is important is that it came into Africa in 2008. We have a campus in Ghana, and of course, we have a campus here in Nigeria, but the head office for Africa is in Ghana. We launched our global executive MBA in 2016, and from 2020 to 2023, we were the second best in that category. And these rankings are from the Financial Times. And just this year, 30 years into the launch of the school, we became the first global EMBA as a rank and recognition. So please, a little round of applause for all of that. Thank you. Okay, great. I already mentioned that we're recognized globally, and we have some ranking from a recognized institution. But I should talk about what kind of programs do we have. Outside of the global EMBA, we have our Chinese executive MBA. By the way, it's important to know that the courses are delivered in English, so don't I don't speak Mandarin myself. There's a lot of courses that are available from an MBA point of view, but that's not all. We have open executive programs, which is what I supervise for the African continent. 2 or 3 of them are very much a part of what we do every single year. The WELA program I find very, very impressive, and the alumni who is here with me present had run that program almost at the beginning, and then she moved on to the ODP program, where she then later became the president of the alumni. We have open enrollment programs and, of course, company-specific program. And the reason why I'm here today is to seek further ways that we can help MIPAN grow and its members develop themselves. There are many things that Dr. said earlier just now, and I wanted to just call out some of them. In terms of identifying your customer pain points, this is what SIBS is there to do for you, to give you tools and strategies to make that happen, to support you to get from point A to point B. We understand that businesses are always going to be turbulent. There's nobody that comes into business. In fact, I was driving by mile 2 towards my parents' house a few weeks ago, and many of the structures there, many of the businesses there, I didn't recognize. Businesses start and they die. And our hope at SIBS is that we will help you sustain your businesses for even longer. Excuse me. The other thing he said was about digital transformation. We have a program and a relationship that could help you do that. Understanding where digital opportunities are, helping you with the connection we have globally to actually make that transformation. So one of the alumni that we have from a corporate point of view is Alibaba, and I agree, you must agree with me that there's no other global organization that can speak to what digital has been able to do for their businesses. Alibaba is practically an everyday name for many businesses here in Nigeria. We have campuses around China, about 3 of them. Shanghai is where the head office is, and it's an amazing campus, really beautiful. And then, of course, we have in Beijing and Shenzhen. We also have the Zurich campus, and we have a space here in Nigeria, apart from the campus in Ghana. Okay. Clicker is not clicking. All right, good. Do we do all we do alone? Not all the time. Sometimes we work with partners globally, including Harvard, Wharton, London Business School, INSEAD, and a few others that are not listed here. In particular, our global EMBA, for example, where we have students from Tesla, even from Alibaba itself, and some other Nigerian businesses as part of our EMBA program. We have a specific African campus. So when he was speaking earlier, he talked about the fact that Nigerian businesses were expanding into Africa. That insight is something that CIBS can help you with. Yes, we're in Ghana, but many of the other African companies and students, participants come into the school. So that interaction is something that we encourage. Many of our courses we like to do physically. A few of them are online, but physical interaction means that you're deepening the bond and the relationships that you have. So, yeah. Now, we're not only abroad, as you like to call it. We also partner with African institutions like JIBS in South Africa. We also have a relationship with Strathmore in Kenya. And in fact, we had a meeting with one of them expanding their relationship outside of Ghana into Nigeria. Okay. Where are you, clicker? Okay. Have we partnered with some brands? The answer is yes, both on the NGO side of things and on the corporate side of things. So some of them are in the banking sector, some of them are in the FMCG, and food and beverage and the like. So we believe that the insights that we can bring from an African perspective, practical knowledge that we can share with you and your colleagues as well as your association and members of your team can only go to make your businesses better. So why CIBS? How do we work?
Plan ready, sir. Okay. So we're supposed to take a commercial break, but that break is meant to be some 5 minutes. But by virtue of the power vested on me, and looking at the, the pace that we're moving, I'll be shortening that break to 2 minutes. Yeah, so that you don't want to forget, right? You need, the next session now is maybe we'll be dishing out checks and all of that. You never can tell. I have the blueprint here with me. So trust me when I say that, right? So let's just take a walk around the room. I would really appreciate if we don't, because we're, time is fast spent, and it's important that we maximize the benefit of what this session has to offer. So you can just stand up, shake, walk around. For those of you that have smartwatches, I'm sure your smartwatch must be telling you to take that 10 steps and all of that. So let's just stand up, move around. Those that came late, that are probably sitting at the back, this would be a good time for you to shake their hands and, get to say one or two things. And we'll resume with a brief presentation before we have the panel session after the break. So 2 minutes, please. I'll be standing here. Control room, you can just give us some light music. Which music is 2 minutes long now? Play Rema, 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 Rema. Thank you.
LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
Continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it breaks from the perspectives.
I declare
LN 24/7 News, where the story goes, we go. LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it breaks from the perspective.
Elegance is not just a look, it's a lifestyle.
LN 24/7 News, where the
and refined beauty at
we
the Winnie
go.
School of Elegance. My name is Winifred Umwania, and I'm here to take you on a journey of transformation where we'll cultivate not only style, but class, confidence, and sophistication. From mastering social etiquette, preparing for the corporate world, to perfecting your personal style, or simply just want to become the very best version of yourself, Winnie School of Elegance is where your journey begins. So if you want to embrace a lifestyle that speaks volumes, it's not just a look, it's a lifestyle, and you can unlock the secret beauty at the Winnie School of Elegance. My name, and I'm here to take you on a journey of transformation where we'll cultivate not only style, but class, confidence, and sophistication. From mastering social etiquette, preparing for the corporate world, personal style, or simply just want to become the very best version of yourself, Winnie School of Elegance is where your journey begins. So if you want to embrace a lifestyle that speaks volume without saying a word, join us here on LN 24/7 every Sunday at 4 p.m. to discover your most elegant self. Remember, elegance is a way of life, and I'm so excited to go on this transformation journey with you.
LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it breaks from the perspective. Trust. LN 24/7 News, where the story goes, we go. LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the south has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it breaks from the Pacific. You can trust. LN 24, where the story goes, we go. LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it from the perspective you can trust. LN 24/7 News, where the story goes, we go. LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We'll continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
in the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We will continue with updates from the just concluded governorship
In the southeast has raised questions if INEC will be able to conduct elections.
With a core team of over 40 correspondents spread across Nigeria.
Nigeria is set to take its place.
And affiliates in Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. We give you news as it breaks from You Can Trust.
LN 24/7 News, where the story goes, we go.
LN 24/7 is first of all a news station.
We will continue with updates from the just concluded governorship in
Goes, we go.
By the name Emmanuel. presentation. And after that, we would go into the panel session. You can.
Good afternoon, everyone. I've not been able to network at all because I just came in. So, and I heard that there's somebody that's going to give us $2 million. Please, I need to invest in my business. So whoever the person is, I'd like to see you after the event. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we don't have slides to present. I'm sure we all are familiar with our organization, JCDCO Grace Lake. We have digital structures installed across Lagos. I can tell you that that's the most powerful digital network in Lagos today. And looking at that, there's been a constant conversation about data, measuring audience measurement and all of that. But one thing JCDCO has been able to do when the network that we have today. So please sit back and enjoy the rest of the events, and we will be unveiling these even bigger sheets there. Thank you very much. Please don't forget that $2 million.
Thank you very much, Lee. Okay. Right straight to the panel discussion. So it's been, a day now, not morning anymore. It's been a couple of hours of valuable conversations. And for this next session, we'll be having a very tight panel of distinguished individuals. The title of this panel session or discussion is the impact of government policies and their effects on the media advertising business. And to moderate this session would be Esther Alaribe, the Programs Manager of Women Radio 91.7 Lagos. She here? Okay. Okay, please put your hands together for her. I'll just read her profile briefly. So her profile is actually in page 28. Please ignore the name, okay? I identify her as a guy. Please let know it's just some mix-up there. Esther Alaribe is a practicing broadcast journalist with core specialties in production, presentation, news editing, and an excellent moderator. She's a Master graduate from OOU with expertise in print media. She leads a team of producers, presenters, and editors as programs manager at Women Radio, driving impactful programming and initiatives that makes her a positive force for change. She's currently pursuing a master's degree at the University of Lagos. Please put your hands together again for Esther. Right next to Esther is Mr. Chika Oputa, who is the Cluster MD for Dentsu X and Dentsu Location Service. Chika is a lawyer with postgraduate studies in capital market and debt financing. He's a chess champion. Nice. Martial artist in training. Oh my goodness. And half marathoner and an ex-Man United fan. Wow. What a combination. He's passionate about strategy and marketing and is experienced managing complex projects and campaigns across different industries, product categories, and jurisdiction. Currently responsible for leading growth for a portfolio of media-fused Dentsu companies, Dentsu X and Dentsu OOH as the cluster MD. also have joining the panel Mr. Sheson Adeniji, who is the GM, the General Manager of Vibes 94.7 FM and Vibes TV. Sheson is... He has
a lot of people don't have money. Companies were...
Okay, so it's an amazing book. I think you should read it. It's amazing to the extent that it tells you that really nothing is different, nothing has changed. Okay, economies are cyclical. Things will come up, things will go down. Okay, and if you are a Bible scholar or you believe in myths, you will also read the story of Joseph that predicted the 7 years of prosperity and saved for 7 years of famine. So nothing we are facing in the context of the world is really unique or special. Okay? And with that at the back of your mind, what you ask yourself is that how has people dealt with this all through history? One of the things that you do is to ensure that you are, as everybody has rightly pointed out, you continue to deliver value. Now, what are companies doing, globally and locally, and how does it apply to us? So, cost of borrowing, because of government policy, is so high, and you're beginning to see companies like Apple have the highest cash reserve in the world because they know that they need cash. MTN right now is no longer thinking of going to the banks to borrow. MTN is trying to borrow from you and me via commercial papers because they know that they are going to get better rates. So the first thing that you try to do as a business is to look at your cost structure in a manner that doesn't affect your core competence. Okay? You do not go cutting things that give you the edge. Rather, you look at your entire cost structure and see the things that you're going to shave. So for example, in terms of working capital financing, people like MTN, they are getting 34% to 40% from the bank. What they've done is to issue commercial papers that they pay you or they pay organizations 24, 25%. So that gives them 7, 8%, basis points in terms of decrease in what it means to run their business. Now, for us as businesses, it means that we need to become very smart in the ways that we retain money in the business. Because days like this must come. So gone are the days whereby at the end of the year, you share dividend and there is no retained capital, because winter is no longer coming. Winter has come. Okay? And we need to act like winter is here. So that's the first thing that you do. Ensure that you have a robust cost structure. Okay? The second thing that you do is that you continue to give your people a vision of the future. Okay? We work with a lot of young people, and if you look at all the research, all the statistics, it's showing that young people are stressed. Cost of living is about killing the living. A lot of us want to Japa. I've not traveled because I can't drive Uber. If I could drive Uber, I would have left. So it's important that we continue to sell a compelling vision of the future, okay, to young people, to encourage them, to let them know that this is actually the best time to start. Because you're starting in an industry that is undergoing fundamental changes. Okay? If you had come into the industry 3-4 years ago, you're doing same of same. Right now, you are able to make a change in this space. I remember when I used to have Dozie as my client for Coca-Cola. That was 20 years ago. So Dozie will tell me, you need to bring me innovation. You need to show me insights. However, because the economy is doing well, people are doing same old. There is no repercussion for making any bad decision. So we are able to get away with doing things that do not work because the economy is doing well, and even if you do the wrong thing, in quote, you will gain market share. Right now, it doesn't happen. So a lot of clients are asking us to prove attribution. This X amount of money you're spending, how is it translating directly to growth? And I can no longer lie with top-of-mind awareness metrics. I can no longer tell them about brand awareness. So those are some of the changes that we are seeing.
Okay. Thank you very much for being practical. And I'm sure that a lot of us in the room would be able to relate to some of the things that he said, even though he said so many things. When you break it down or you have to unpack it, you get exactly what he's saying. So I'm going to come to you now, Dr. Wani. If we look at some of the slides that you shared on where the money is at right now for some sectors, let's look at the media, for example, media and advertising. I was talking to a colleague yesterday about how AI is changing things. There's so much, so many softwares out there. AI is doing so much, presentation-wise, anything you want to do in the media, there is an AI software that can do that. Now let's look at the possibility whereby the audience, the target market that we as advertisers, media practitioners are trying to reach, they can now afford to do these things on their own with AI, different technologies. What happens to the media or advertising? Tell us with your data, because we need to know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just like my brother said, that nothing is new. You know, I remember the .com era when we were told that year 2000, am I correct? You know, people will lose their job, this will happen, computer will burst, all of those. You know, but instead of that happening, we find out that the business environment even got better. It got better. You know, the people or the businesses in the advertising media that will be left behind by AI are those that continue to be doing things the way they were doing it. People that refuse to become agile, people that refuse to become, to learn, you know. So one of the ways is for you to see how you can become relevant in the new era. AI is here to stay. You know, AI, and we have not even seen the best of AI. We're just in the foundation of AI. You know, so one of the things is that you also use your media platform to talk about plagiarism and AI plagiarism. Those of you in the media should be able to relate. The guys that cannot go to AI and just get something that media would have done for them, to know that if you use it, there are consequences. You know, you promote copyright, you promote plagiarism and all of those things so that your work remains for you. You know, the question you ask is more of a consulting question. I don't have my invoice here. I don't have my invoice. But I believe that those media practitioners that will remain agile, that will remain above board, will still survive and even do better. Are they the ones that will fizzle out? They are. And it happens at every reform, at every innovation and everything. But please, let's not be a casualty.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm sure that a lot of us are going to hold on to that. So as the tides are changing, you need to be changing. What conversations are you having within your organization? Are you incorporating AI into what you're doing? Because are jobs really safe? Well, we're asking. So now I'll come to Dr. Afolabi Brown. Let's talk about government policies, regulations. We've seen in recent times different economic policies and how they're affecting businesses generally. So how has it been like for you at TVC?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here amongst media experts. I play in the terrestrial space. And one of the things in my own space is the fact that we need data. And government had promised us since 2015, or even before then, or 2010, when we're talking about digital switchover. Many of us had high hopes, saying that once we switch over, we'll have data on who's watching us, as opposed to who's watching the cable stations. And even when, before online came, now we have a huge competition online. Most of our viewers are on social media and the digital space. So as a terrestrial player, I think government has failed me in helping to provide the policy and the framework to help in ensuring adequate and efficient data to be able to get to generate the kind of revenue that should be attributed to me. One of the key things in my own sector is we know we have the numbers, but we don't have the right data. The TAMS data we use right now, the ARMS data we use right now, is mostly diary version, where they are going from people to people in that framework to have more efficient data. And we're hoping that at some point we have a real, although I've been to Abuja recently where there was a conference where they launched something called TAMS. You know, we are hoping indeed that it comes to fruition, because I know there's a third party who's been engaged, and their job is to see how they can get a device in homes. So according to them, it's the same system that is used internationally, where you have about 7 devices where they can per time tell who is watching what at every time. That should be funneled into access for all the various TV stations. I'm hoping that works, because we'll be talking about digital situation forever. So when that happens, government policy then will be able to adequately support our own type of business to ensure that we know who's watching what per time and be able to increase our revenue going forward.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So I'm going to take some part of what you've said, and I'm coming to you now, Mr. Sheson. Let's talk about the government involvement and also having to intentionally. I know when we talk about government funding, we know what we're talking about though. Talk about funding, talk about data. We live in a time where even the consumers, your target audience, actually want to see data. They want to know how many people are listening to you. Why do I have to put my advert or whatever content on your platform? Give me the numbers. Bearing in mind that for some of us who get to subscribe to the MPS, for people on the radio, you get to pay for this. You will find a way to incorporate this cost into your operational cost. The money is still not there. So let's talk about the government and intentionally funding or just making life a little bit more easier in that business space.
Okay, so if the question precisely is what is the support of government? So let me start from this place. Like the doctor said the other time, before you begin to even think about what your data is, the question is, in-house, have you created things
that could give value, that people could account for. First, while he was talking, what we have done at Vibes FM is one, first research our audience. Research the audience to be able to do a tailor-made content for them. We are more of a more music station and less talk. And what we've realized that our audience are very youth-centric. And we say we're going to give them music, music is the form of escapism for this audience. Music is a form of companion for those driving to work, for those transiting in Uber, and for those even, there's a lot of air saloons. That's what we've done. So with that, you could see the numbers. If you check that, that is the number for us. But beyond that, the second question for us is, how do we also add value to the brand that's advertising with us? It's strategic partnership. So what we've done to get eyeballs was to be able to do partnership with folks like Trace. With that, we're able to expand our audience. That gives value. That means we're bringing audience back to the radio. So the next question is, how do we give back value to the audience that we're bringing back to the radio? We have strategic partnership with folks like Film House, where every time on radio, if you call in, you're winning maybe 5,000. So if you check the numbers, that itself, if you're going outside to do research, you know you're asking folks and you're getting that. Whether those that's doing the research, they're asking the right question, that is on that. But with that, that's what we've done over time that, with this, you could check that diagram. That's how we begin to gather audience. And from the government side, she mentioned something about something that was launched in Abuja the other time. In terms of measurement, there was one I read that was in June where there's this audience measurement survey beyond what the MPS is doing. We wait for that to come out. But all I know very well is, like my Oga said the other time, first in-house, we're able to give value. And when you give value to people, you know the numbers. Not just that I mentioned in transit, we also have partnership with Uber, with this other guy that you go and you see them. That is how the numbers. So if I'm not, I could sit here and say, from here to here to here, this is the numbers. Then it's up to those that is measuring to be able to do the diligence, to be able to capture it very well. But it starts, for us, it starts with us. And I think for everybody, just like the amazing media people here, everybody is doing their work. When we do our work, it's going to add up. And when it adds up, everybody is going to capture it. So for us, it starts with us, and we continue to do it. And when the agency bring jobs now, is how do you give value to them that can also add up to their client? You know, we do a lot of gratis on our station, and sometimes you ask why. I met with someone here today, and he said part of the gratis we give to them was so huge that even the clients were happy. That's how you begin to add, and you begin to add numbers, and you give value, because everybody wants value. So it starts with us, and that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to come back to Mr. Ofuta with what you have started off with, talking about content. Yes, content is king. Now let's talk about being able to balance what we have with the current economic realities, ensuring that your target audience, your clients who come to you, you still ensure quality. There's certain things that I don't want to put my name on because I know, and this one is not good. But you want to ensure that for anything you're giving out to your clients, your customers, you're giving them what is premium, and you're still ensuring that you are managing costs somehow.
I don't like Esther very much.
You don't?
So the questions I answer look consulting like. So I need to invoice also. Okay, so the consumer, very important. We exist to help the client bridge the gap between themselves and the consumer. Okay? So the first thing that you need to do is understand what consumers consume. So people consume media for broadly 3 reasons. Okay? They consume media because they want to be entertained, educated, or informed. Okay? These are the 3 reasons that they consume. And it's also part of escaping from your daily realities. You know, anytime I want to feel depressed, I put on the news. It depresses me. But I get informed. Anytime I want to be happy, I used to watch Manchester United, now I don't. So I think that what we need to do is to, because the way we interpret media is not the way the consumers interpret media. So when people wake up in the morning, they consume WhatsApp, that's media. They go to X, that's media. They listen to podcasts, that's media. They stumble into the bank and they see things scrolling and they get their information and they pick up the paper. Media is all around us. So when the conversations around what kind of content you need to put out comes up, it's typically around what are people consuming and where they are consuming it. Because different channels will lead you to different content genres and formats. Okay? And different times of the day will also lead you to the kind of content that people consume. So there is a rise of short form content. There is also a rise of very long format content. You know, you see people like Joe Rogan, people are listening. You see people like I Said What I Said for Nigeria, people are listening. So the landscape for content is so fragmented that it requires a lot of granularity in terms of being intentional as regards what you put out. And that is, for me, part of the hidden gems that will emerge from this, our so-called recession. Because people are beginning to look beyond TV and radio planning, okay? People are now beginning to do audiovisual planning. And when you do audiovisual planning, you begin to understand that WhatsApp is a channel. You begin to understand that your screen is a channel. And you will move beyond the traditional delineations and description of media. Because the truth about it is that our audience has moved away from that.
Interesting. So I picked up something from what you said, and I also have something in my head from what you said. I'm going to take what you said now to Dr. What you have said, I will take to Dr. Afolabi Brown. So this is it.
Thank God.
Okay. So what you said that I picked up was the part where you said for some of your clients, you get to give them gratis, where you give them extra slot on paid, and you have to run. Now my question to you, Dr. Wani, on that is, I'm thinking business, I'm thinking money. For us in the media industry, there's not a lot of money. I've been hearing that even when I was a child aspiring to be a journalist. There's not a lot of money in the media industry. And now you have to give some kind of value to your clients for them to be able to come back. And now you're giving gratis. And you also have to consider some of this costs like electricity, fuel, and all of that. How do you balance it out? I will come back to you for the answer. What I picked up from what you said is the fact that we have to follow the audience, follow these people to the different platforms where they're on. So my question for Dr. Afolabi Brown is going to be, how do you ensure that you are able to just touch on these different parts and still maintain quality, ethics of the job, and you're diversifying in a way that, in as much as you're breaking down the content that you have to these different platforms, you're still looking at ways to generate revenue from all of them. I said a lot actually, so I'm going to give you time to think about it. So, do you want to go first?
I was going to just chip in a bit because the truth is that we must understand what drives our individual business. Who exactly are you talking to? Who are you communicating to? In my own experience, there was a season where we weren't making money because we're hardcore. Come, pay for your airtime, bring your advert, and go. But it got to a point where we had to engage, employ what you said earlier, where we said, you know what, come. We will give you gratis. We will engage, we will work with you, and we'll give you the airtime because it's airtime. It's gone in seconds. So what we need to do is collaborate with our media partners. Say, okay, what can you do? What can we do to benefit your client? What does your client need? How does it connect with who my audience is? And let us curate something that will make your clients happy, because when they're happy, they will be able to bring their businesses here. We've had situations where for almost a year, we're giving at least maybe 60% of our airtime on gratis for a period. But you know what? It paid off. Eventually, the clients, understanding the possibilities that we have created, began to plan around us. They will call us first. TVC, how far? So what? We're putting our budget together. Can you do this for us? I want to put in our budget for the client. Eventually, after year in, year out, we realized that more revenue was coming towards us. So as providers for us, it's important for you to be willing to give those grants to a certain level, obviously, but you also have to consider your operations. But the truth is, many people don't see what they can't see. You, as a media professional, can create for them to see, and when they see, they begin to pay for that product.
Okay.
Sorry, just to add to that, there's something they call in economics, they call price discrimination. So sometimes when you even do gratis, when the client sees this, they come to you. I know of a sponsorship that we had on our nighttime right now. We started like a form of gratis. Now it has turned to sponsorship. Not just sponsorship, the brands are also coming back to say they want so time. So you could do, while you're doing gratis, you can also do price discrimination. While at your same price, you can do at different clients, different brands, at different prices, just for you to stay in business. It is very, very essential that we do that. Like you said, this time is going to go. But you get to a point where we were like in about 10 years ago, where brands will now call you. They are brainstorming with you that they have ideas. Now you're telling them, I've seen a situation in about 2 weeks where brands are coming, we want to do this, what can you do? And we're brainstorming ideas, and they say, I say, wow, wow, wow. Because nobody has a monopoly of ideas. And before you know, if the agency is doing well, the brand is doing well, we're all doing well, because we must do well. Just to add to it, there's something I realized about 10 years ago. I was sitting down somewhere in the RG office. If your industry is doing well, you do well. So the joy of it that if we are doing well, TVC is doing well, every brand is doing well, we go. So it is important that we all do well, everything. A client called me and was asking me about Vibes, because we have Vibes FM Lagos, and I was asking about Vibes FM Benin. Some folks will not even give it. I gave the brand the information that they needed. I gave it the client, because if they are doing well, we're all doing, even though they take our money from entertainment, they take it to sport. It is important that we do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm coming back to Dr. Nwani. So please, I would like for you to answer that, because you see that Dr. Afolabi Brown here and Mr. Adeniji are both saying the same thing, saying, oh, we have to give gratis. But when we look at business, operation costs, and there was something profound you mentioned in your slides, overproduction. Now, for us, it's airtime. Whether you give it to somebody or not, or you're playing music, it will go. So how do we ensure that we are balancing the business side of things?
Okay, I will get to that, but I want to mention something that is most fundamental for this industry, and it's been bugging my mind. You know, during my presentation, I spoke about collaboration, partnership. And this collaboration and partnership is not just within this sector. It can be intra-sector or intersector. And I give you one reason. In my first slide, I said that banks and financial services industry are making a key when Nigeria's economy is dying or suffering. Why? Because this sector has made the highest number of collaboration within and outside their industry. We are talking about data, and until data is unlocked, the potentials of data is unlocked in this sector, we are going nowhere. Banks non-interest income is now about 85%. That is for not borrowing anybody money. They are fine.
touch on these different parts and still maintain quality, ethics of the job, and you're diversifying in a way that, in as much as you're breaking down the content that you have to these different platforms, you're still looking at ways to generate revenue from all of them. I've said a lot actually, so I'm going to give you time to think about it. So, do you want to go first?
I was going to just chip in a bit because the truth is that we must understand what drives our individual business. Who exactly are you talking to? Who are you communicating to? In my own experience, there was a season where we weren't making money because we're hardcore. Come, pay for your airtime, bring your advert, and go. But it got to a point where we had to engage, employ what you said earlier, where we said, you know what, come, we will give you gratis. We will engage, we will work with you, and we'll give you the airtime because it's airtime. It's gone in seconds. So what we need to do is collaborate with our media partners, say, okay, what can you do? What can we do to benefit your client? What does your client need? How does it connect with who my audience is? And let us curate something that will make your clients happy, because when they're happy, they will be able to bring their businesses here. We've had situations where for almost a year, we're giving at least maybe 60% of our airtime on gratis for a period. But you know what? It paid off. Eventually, the clients, understanding the possibilities that we have created, began to plan around us. They will call us first. TVC, how far? So what? We're putting our budget together. Can you do this for us? I want to put in our budget for the clients. Eventually, after year in, year out, we realized that more revenue was coming towards us. So, as providers for us, it's important for you to be willing to give those gratis to a certain level, obviously, but you also have to consider your operations. But the truth is, many people don't see what they can't see. You, as a media professional, can create it for them to see, and when they see, they begin to pay for that product.
Okay.
Sorry, just to add to that, there's something they call in economics, they call price discrimination. So sometimes when you even do gratis, when the client sees this, they come to you. I know of a sponsorship that we had on our nighttime right now. We started like a form of gratis. Now it has turned to sponsorship. Not just sponsorship, the brands are also coming back to say they want social time. So you could do, while you're doing gratis, you can also do price discrimination. At your same price, you can do at different clients, different brands, at different prices, just for you to stay in business. It is very, very essential that we do that. Like you said, this time is going to go. But you get to a point where we were like in about 10 years ago, where brands will now call you. They are brainstorming with you that they have ideas. Now you're telling them, I've seen a situation in about 2 weeks where brands are coming, we want to do this, what can you do? And we're brainstorming ideas, and they say, I say, wow, wow, wow. Because nobody has monopoly of ideas. And before you know, if the agency is doing well, the brand is doing well, we're all doing well, because we must do well. Just to add to it, there's something I realized about 10 years ago. I was sitting down somewhere in the RJ office. If your industry is doing well, you do well. So the joy of it that if we are doing well, TVC is doing well, every brand is doing well, we go. So it is important that we all do well, everything. A client called me and was asking me about Vibes, because we have Vibes FM Lagos, and I was asking about Vibes FM Benin. Some folks will not even give it. I gave the brand the information that they needed. I gave it the client, because if they are doing well, we're all doing, even though they take our money from entertainment, they take it to sport. It is important that we do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm coming back to Dr. Nwani. So please, I would like for you to answer that, because you see that Dr. Afolabi Brown here and Mr. Adeniji are both saying the same thing, saying, oh, we have to give gratis. But when you look at business, operation costs, and there was something profound you mentioned in your slides, overproduction. Now for us, it's airtime. Whether you give it to somebody or not, or you're playing music, it will go. So how do we ensure that we are balancing the business side of things?
Okay, I will get to that, but I want to mention something that is most fundamental for this industry, and it's been bugging my mind. You know, during my presentation, I spoke about collaboration, partnership. And this collaboration and partnership is not just within this sector. It can be intra-sector or intersector. And I give you one reason. In my first slide, I said that banks and financial services industry are making a key when Nigeria's economy is dying or suffering. Why? Because this sector has made the highest number of collaboration within and outside their industry. We are talking about data, and until data is unlocked, the potentials of data is unlocked in this sector, we are going nowhere. Banks non-interest income is now about 85%. That is for not borrowing anybody money. They are fine. They are fine. And how do they achieve that? Through the association called ASCON or something. The short code, you know, that short code we are seeing is the boom. You know, so what can MIPAN do, or another association within this association, to collaborate with telecom industry, such that the problem, if you are waiting for government for your data, witness it.
It will not come.
Yeah, 2030, we are still talking about it. It has to be industry driven now, President.
Yeah.
One of your book. It has to be industry driven. With your association, with the MBA or whatever, your regulator, talk to telecom sector, and it may not be the big ones, the MTN. It may even be the marks, you know, the management of their marks, the ZT of this world, and some of, yes, people might unlock it, you know, across the country, put few this thing in their marks, and real time, this data is generated. Real time is about sharing revenue, and with that, you'll be able to unlock all these potentials we are talking about. That will deal with this fundamental problem of customer segmentation, direct sales, and some of these things. You know, government, I'm not sure if they will do it. It's going to be driven by your association, by regulators into it, and have a sharing, collaborating formula with the right telecom operator.
So, yes, please. Ladies first.
Touch on something that myself and Mr. John Upa were speaking earlier. You know, when you talk about untapped opportunities, because we know that there are 17 million Nigerians in the diaspora. We know they remit $22 billion to this country. There is huge money, there's huge opportunity that we're not, even we as media practitioners are not looking at. Because recently I had a meeting with my team. I said, listen, there is a huge market there. What can we do? What can we sell? Because they are constantly remitting money home. And there's a way we can actually ensure that that money is going to some of our brands. So these are the opportunities that are untapped that we need to begin to talk about as media professionals.
Yeah, thank you. So we're having conversations around, you know, broader industry structure, which is around profitability for the general industry. Okay, and historically, marketing services company do well when the economy is doing well. And we do badly when the economy is not doing badly, when the economy is doing badly. So people advertise less because we are not predominantly a direct-to-consumer business. We are a direct-to-business then to consumer. And if those businesses aren't able to reach their consumer or cut the cost of reaching their consumer, it directly affects us. Okay, so we are almost at the edge of the cyclical nature of the economy. So anytime the economy shakes, professional services, marketing services suffer. Now, if you layer this with the ease of entry in the market, it is easy to set up a media agency, in quote. It is easy to set up a digital agency. It is easy to build a billboard. What you typically have is an industry that is contracting, but with increasing number of players. So that means that you're competing in a red ocean. And when you do that, people typically will compete around price and generally call it value. Value is English that we speak. Typically, we compete on price. And a lot of the conversations we have on media is procurement and cost-led conversations as opposed to value-led conversations. So that means that our margins will continue to thin out because fundamentally we offer a service that more and more people are coming into a sector that is contracting. Now we need to redefine our industry. Because if we don't, an industry that is $5 billion, that has 200 players, and that 200 players increase to 1,000 players, will be less profitable. Now, you will have big gorillas in the jungle, like the TVCs, like the media riches of this world, but the industry dynamics will be such that it will not be largely profitable for a lot of the players. Okay? So it's imperative that we define our industry. And for me, what I typically tell people is that we should just stop talking. There is nothing that is being said on this stage that everybody here doesn't know. Let's just do. Let's just do. Because if we don't do, there is no industry. Gravitas works and will move the needle. If you're a TVC, there are people that offer Gravitas and they go out of business. Fact. So, the conversation is, how do we redefine our industry in a manner that is futuristic and enables growth? I think that is the conversation that we need to have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oputa. So I will come to you, Mr. Adeniji. At this point, we're talking way forward, strategies for, we're talking 2025 media advertising industry, government policies, and all of that. Yes, government policies as an industry, we might be able to come together to say we're lobbying, we're having conversations, but until anything is changed, you still have to find a way to thrive in that industry, pending when any kind of change or support or anything like we hope to come would show up. So what strategies are you looking at implementing way forward, ensuring that you're balancing value for your customer, preserving your business as well, and profitability?
So if you ask what we're going to do, can I get the question again, please?
The question is,
please,
going forward,
okay.
How are you going to be ensuring that you are managing
value for your client?
Okay.
Preserving your organization, business-wise, profitability, and also ensuring that you are cutting costs.
Okay, so like I said, often with us, we always start with ourselves. We have our blueprint, we already know it. Like I said, at the station, we're very youth-centric and more music and less talk. Because I talk to you, that is a key for us. We stick with what we know, that is one. Partnership, like the doctor said the other time, the first one is identifying our audience and where they are. We identify them, we know where they are, we take what we do to them. Through Uber, through our partnership, we trace the only radio station that partner we trace. Sometimes you ask, why that? Because we know we can amplify and get more audience. Take our partnership to what I said with folks like females. We know we can give value to our audience. That take our partnership to every activation that our audience are. Every activation. What that does is that there are like 5 activations that happen. We partner with them. So what it means that they are seeing us, as they are seeing us, like a call to action. They are tuning in. We're giving value to our client. Also important, at also brainstorming with our media partners. Sometimes they come to us, they have this, we sit with them, we understand what they want to do. We help them deliver to that. But it's very important, we will never change in terms of what our audience, because there's some audience that doesn't mix. Sometimes, like I said, if you want to listen to news, it knows where to go to. If you want to listen to football, if you want to watch football, it knows where to go to. If you want to listen to music, top new discovery, we say come to us. What we want to do is that I just want you to come to us once, because when you come to us, when it comes to that interest of yours, you will always come to us. That will stick to it. And for us, it is important. And as much as we say in times of granted, so as giving value is also very key to us. There is no client that will come to us that won't say we want to give some. It's ingrained in us. So we always want to do that. You know, in advertising, they say you have to grow with your clients. No matter how big you are, even the client, we want to grow with you. Every day, we want you to listen to us as if it's the test station. Every day when you come to us as a media person, you want to come to us as if you're meeting us for the first time. Because in this part of the world, our device, sometimes overknow they kill people. So every time we want to make sure that we give value, we retain our audience, and we also give them value everywhere. So it's very, very important. That's the way that we've been able to maintain our content. We've been able to know that we don't adulterate our content, and also give value to our audience, and also give value to the client. That is very, very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oputa. Let's talk about you. You mentioned walking the talk, enough of the talks. Your recommendation on how we are going to walk the talk.
Once again, I don't like Esther. Okay, so what we've tried to do is, so think of this as a game simulation, game theory. So in fighting, you need to assume different fight situations so you can plan your defense accordingly. So there are 4 options, okay, from a game theory point of view. The first option is to be the biggest gorilla in the jungle if you need to win, okay, from a scale and size point of view. The second option will be to distinguish yourself, become an expert in something that is not easily, cannot be easily copied. So, example is what the fintech guys have done. Okay, you notice that banks have launched fintech arms, but they are not still able to compete with fintech. Okay, so they are all in financial services, but people have distinguished themselves. The third option is to accept that you can be number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and that's fine. And the fourth option is to go out of business. Okay? Now, where you land in all of this depends on what you have done in the past and your vision of the future. If you define your future narrowly, you go out of business. If you define your future properly and decide that you want to grow the industry from a base point of view through collaborations, through synergies around tech, around innovation, you're likely going to win. Even if you do not win, you will become very profitable for your stakeholders. Okay? There is a segment that is not existing right now in country, which is huge, and no agency, network, or group is doing anything aggressively about it. That's AdTech. Okay? You mentioned AI, we mentioned ChatGPT. There is a whole industry called AdTech. Okay? And that also offers us opportunity for growth. So we need to grow the industry so that it becomes profitable for everybody. And within that growth, you can find out where you need to be in these 4 domains. Going out of business actually is not as bad as you think. You can retire.
Please don't listen to him. All right. So, Dr. Afolabi Brown, tell us strategies for sustainability, advertising, media-wise. I mean, we're talking TVC. Tell us what you have done that has worked for you. And I'm hoping that some people here will be able to take out something.
I think for us in TVC, and I think not just my own arm, which is entertainment, it's more of communication, TVC communications, is knowing exactly who we are. You see, we've been able to define who TVC communications are, who we are. Competition out there have chosen different strategies. We've seen mudslinging, we've seen journalism going down south, we've seen ethics thrown out the door, but we have retained who we are. Although perception-wise, people can think, oh, because it's TVC, XYZ, and it's unfortunate because I argue that we're probably the most objective news station in this country. But perception-wise, people may think otherwise for different reasons. But we have been very true to our core. And that's what TVC News stands for. For me as TVC Entertainment, I have never shied away from the fact that we're number 1 in the terrestrial belt. We're number 1 in speaking to Nigerians. And once we know who we are, we're able to define our stance in the market, number 1. Number 2, I would say innovate. The truth is, as he said earlier, yes, the economy is contrasting, there are lots of players there, but there are opportunities to innovate as a TV station. And that's one of the things we're looking at. How do we do things better? where's the blue ocean here? What can we find that is not being properly marketed? What can we see? Where are the new diamonds in the rough? So that's part of what we're doing as a station. Also, collaboration is also very important for us as a station. Because the truth is that we can't be everywhere. We must accept where we are. I'm not trying to play with anybody on the cable belt. I am focusing on my terrestrial belt, and I am saying I'm going to champion that. I'm going to own that belt. I'm going to continue to stay ahead. I'm going to continue to innovate because I have a huge market that I'm servicing in that belt. So, and I plan to collaborate with other people, other stations, and even media houses, see what we can do to continue to provide value to our clients. So I think pretty much for me, those are the three things I'm doing futuristically to ensure that we stay afloat. And in this economy, as I said, it's an opportunity. Yes, things will get better, hopefully, but right now, these are the steps that we're taking to stay ahead of our game. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And Dr. Nwani, tell us, you spoke about partnerships. You spoke about collaborations. What should we be looking at as media practitioners and advertisers? Venture capitalists, mutual bonds? What should we be looking at? Tell us.
Okay, I don't know whether this is the pattern works, but
we're still going to be taking questions from the audience.
Okay, my serious warning here is that media advertising in Nigeria should please don't become the yellow taxi or Kodak. I'm saying so because we were blaming government the other time, but you should also thank them. Because if we were fortunate to be like Rwanda, where even the villages have free internet, fast internet, the media and advertising, especially media, would be dead by now. It's because Nigerians are still struggling to buy internet, buy data. You know, so data is very important so that we move forward. But the most important thing now is to think out of the box and see a collaboration that will be powered by your industry. You know, for the benefit. It's a market-wide. I'm talking about, yeah, you can do what you can do to continue to survive, and that is a guerrilla attack you are doing now. But that frontal attack, because this period, you need a lot of frontal attack. Something that will change the industry from where it is now. And that is why I say don't be the yellow taxi. You can see what Uber did to yellow taxi. They were still very happy throwing themselves around, no air conditioning in their taxi, the babas and all the attacks on the road. You know, you would want to. It's in yellow taxi I learned the first few Yoruba language. I can't speak until, you know. So we need to be very, very, very careful. You know, things, once the economy is coming back now and Nigerians can easily afford data, it's even going to be very, very tough. So collaboration and innovation powered by the industry association and your regulator, that is the only thing that will increase the cake so that the sharing can go around. If not, even the big ones may have problems, but the small ones will fizzle out. Like you said, to die as a business is bad, but it's not the end of life. Some will still die.
Unfortunately.
Let me just add something to that. One of the reasons why I'm here today and so many people here, I can look this way and I can say the reason why I'm here today is that about 18, 20 years ago, some people in the media gave me a shot and looked at, oh, this is a media, is unique, is strategic, we're going to support. Supporting new media that is unique, that has an audience, that collaborate is very important to this industry. You can't plan for the future in the future. It is right now. It is important that when we find them, when we identify them, whether they are big, whether they are new, we support them. In short, without that, there will not be an industry. If you turn that to the music industry, just like a music industry, if you don't give the Davidos, the whiskey today, if we don't give them opportunities back in the days, they won't be megastar today. I can give you for a fact.
Were they given opportunity? Or
yes, I wanted to use an example. Some years ago, I put an Olamide on the cover of a magazine, and some folks called me inside this industry, told me I was celebrating mediocrity. One, I did a cover on Fino. It wasn't trendy to put anybody that is not speaking Pidgin or not speaking Yoruba here to put them on the cover. They told me it will never blow, and I smile at them because I've had an idea of advertising before. I said, you need to travel out of Lagos to understand that there are legion of audience out there. Look at what they've become. If EME didn't give Wizkid an opportunity, we won't be. Just check the artists that I've taught. Burna Boy, when I did Burna Boy, it wasn't trendy. Nobody will even touch it, even do a Burna story when we did it. And so many things I have done. And I can say for a fact, there's so many people sitting down here several years ago, as a guy that started with a magazine, they gave me a shot. So many brands not just gave me a shot, they gave me an opportunity to even have experience. I remember when Guinness were doing 250 years, they took me to Dublin to do research. I was just a journalist in the midst of megastars. I have no brands here that have given me an opportunity to see big international awards like MTV European. What that does that, it makes me better. It makes me, and with that, I was able to impact a lot of people, and there are different businesses that have had that opportunity. It is important that young business that are unique, that are partners that continue to grow, be given opportunity to grow. That is the future that we seek, and that's the future that will give us opportunity to be able to reach a lot of audience. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And now we're coming into the room. If you have questions, please signify with a raise of hand. But this time around, it's going to be a little bit interesting. When you raise your hand and you have the mic, tell us your question and who exactly you want to answer your question. So that way, somebody is not going to be hating on me for directing questions at them. So you tell us exactly who you want to answer your question so the person makes a mental note of the question. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon once again to the House. And I am actually very worried today sitting in this session because I just realized that either intentionally or maybe because we don't yet see it, we're scheming about a major problem that is about to hit us. When I first came out of school, in fact, when I attended the University of Lagos, when I was in year 1, year 2 in the university, I joined the advertising industry. And at that time, I was hanging around places like Media Plus, Grant, and the rest of them. That was a long, long time ago. And they began, Mr. Disa said something about Eki sitting in one small office in the agency that they were working in because media was never recognized. Media is going to buy every other arm of the media in the world. But what did I just say? We're buying ourselves. That's what we're doing. We're going to buy the advertising industry. But who is going to do it? The people sitting in this room. Let me put it this way. 2-3 years ago, MIPAN had a session for the Patrons Day where the theme was one media. The industry is one. Morayo talked about the data that the federal government is putting together. I'm sorry, we're behind time. We're behind time. MPS being the gold standard today, when they do come forward and integrate what they have been working on secretly, it's going to invalidate whatever it is that the federal government is working on. I'm sorry about that. Connected TV. All of the major media conferences that have been held in Europe, in the Americas, in the last 4 or 5 years have been about connected TV. Connected TV is your Evo, your Limex, there are so many of them, Evo, AVO TV, Limex, LIMX, and those people are able to put together 120 TV channels from across the world. They're able to put radio stations together in one place, and you go in there, the data is instant. It is instant. The data is instant. It's not diary. It's not people meter. You're not measuring anything. The data is instant. So if I were to log into any platform that is a connected TV platform now, and I watch a Vibes TV show for 2 minutes, it gives Shesong my name, my IP address. It gives Shesong all the details about me. demographics, everything. At the end of the day, if Sheson has a media person, he's able to say, today, this number of people watched, ABC class, you have everything that we've been talking about that we want.
Okay.
It's in connected TV.
So
everything.
What are you recommending to us here now?
So my fear is this. The people that we are still looking for, what is it called? We're looking for free TV, we're looking for satellite TV and all that. The people that are coming into Nigeria, Adam Lowe and the rest of them, are coming with these platforms. They're taking all our money away. All. Why do I say that? Mr. Dada, Omoni Dada, said something about digital TV. Digital TV. Which one of us here owns the platform? It's about ownership. Who amongst us here as the media owners, whether in MIPAN, whether in AAAN, in anywhere, which one of us owns the media platform that the money is going to? None of us. Dr. Vincent said something about partnerships and all that. This is the time for us to actually close up. We are not talking to each other yet, to be honest. We're just skimming about the bush and all that. We're not talking to each other. Okay. So if we do have the major platforms, take out the major platforms, the individual TV channels, of the 448 of us, how many are going to survive? How many? And the ones that are going to survive, and then my last comment before I sit down, we fail to realize that they are not media platforms anymore. Content is the platform.
All right.
Content is the platform.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have show now, and I am able to go everywhere. Everybody will follow me. It doesn't matter whether I am on StarTimes, DSTV, anywhere. Content is the platform now. We have to recognize that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. Any other person, questions, contribution to the conversation? Okay, this way. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Very wonderful and enriching session from the panel. My name is Dolapo Gumambo. I represent Insight Publicis. But more importantly for me, as an alumni of MIPAN, we have said a lot around what we need to do, and I think it's staring us in the face. I like the way Chike put it, to say we have to do. I see it in three critical pillars. The first is that we must be committed selflessly to this industry. And if we don't all come together, it will continue to be a race to the bottom. So each and every one of us must see how we would strengthen MIPAN as an association, because, rightly said, the barrier to entry is very, very low. No matter how big we are, we will always compete against portfolio agencies, as it were. And we need to look out of MIPAN. Collaboration with the media owners needs to be on the forefront of how we are going to advance the entire industry. We also need to have the courage to be able to fight head on the challenges that we experience. I mean, it's not going to be palatable. I know the HSGs having conversations around ARCON and how clients perceive the value that we bring on board. If we don't frontally take those conversations to add value to our industry, I'm sorry, they will continue to divide us, and we will continue to have these challenges of wanting to give value from the point of pricing. And that's not real value at the end of the day. So how can we have the courage to fight head on the challenges that we have? And then we need to collaborate. The government won't do it for us. How do agencies come together? And, you know, we've been talking about data being a challenge. Dr. Onwani has said it, data. Will we continue to wait for government to give us the leeway? I don't think so. Can agencies begin to put something together on the table to say, collectively we'll fight the issue of the death of data in our industry so that we can, you know, add more value to our profession? Please, I'd just like us to consider this so that we can grow this industry together, not just as MIPAN, but as a collective. That would be my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. And I'm sure that from all of the things that we've said on this platform, that there are nuggets that you'll be able to take away. Think about it, partnerships, collaboration, be able to support one another and all of that. At the end of the day, content is king. You're looking at your clients, you're looking at the consumers, the end goal for you to be able to stay in business. And we're talking media sustainability. You don't want to start a business and 5 years down the line you fizzled out and you can't even account for why exactly you started. Like my boss, Tom Okiwali, like Shonaya likes to say, she'll say, if you know your why, you know exactly why you are doing what you're doing, and it keeps you going. And I've just had that stuck with me, and it always reminds me. So even when it doesn't look like what I want to see, I just keep asking myself, why did you start? If I can articulate the why, then it keeps me going. So thank you very much to everyone on this panel. You've done amazingly well, I can say for myself. Thank you. And
thank you, Esther.
Thank you. And to you in the room as well, thank you very much for granting us audience. My name is Esther Alaribe, Programs Manager at Women Radio 91.7. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please don't leave yet. We need to do some Instagramming and Snapchatting. Can we have the MIPAN committee join them on the platform? Mr. Eki? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, coordinate some pictures. I think we should have the MIPAN exposed. I did for MIPAN exposed. All right. We're still taking pictures. All right. So at this time, we'll need the MIPAN ESCOs to please come on stage so we can have some nice pictures. Do we have makeup artists and all of that, please? President, here or I think we can do it here. It still has the MIPAN ESCOs. Thank you. Go explain. Okay. Where is Vice President? Okay, yeah. Okay. I hope the lighting is good. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah. Cameraman. Please smile. Okay.